Why Germans aren't as ambitious as Americans. Let's take a look. Willkommen. My name is Sean Huggins, and this is React with Hugs.
I want to see how he reacts when he thinks no one's watching.
I can't help it if he's weird.
He's American.
He's going crazy with that work.
Everybody reacts differently.
I think he's weird, but that's me.
He's American, you know.
Welcome to React with Hugs. Let's hop straight into today's comment of the day. So today's comment of the day comes from Joe Chen Hop 64, and they say, "You are a real American. Plastic everywhere. Welcome to the real world called Europe. We don't like plastic because it's bad for the environment and the climate." But Americans don't know these words. I do actually know these words. I know both the German and the English words that you're saying right now, but I'm not really sure what plastic has to do with anything that I talk about on this channel, like at all. I don't even know where you would see plastic just hanging out around here in the shot, or I don't even know how you got on the topic of plastic. In fact, the funny thing is I am American, but I live in Germany. So everything that you see here is purchased in Germany. So if there is plastic that you saw in the background or something of one of my videos, it's German plastic. It's a product sold in Germany that contains plastic. So if you have a problem with plastic for whatever reason, then I guess, I don't know, take it up with your government and go to 100% zero plastic in all of Germany. That sounds realistic. Totally. Zero plastic in all of Germany. I think that's a good goal to have. So Jen Hop, thank you for all of this crazy amount of German plastic that I have surrounding me at all times, because I just really want to destroy the environment, as you can tell, because I'm an American. And speaking of Americans, let's take a look at today's reaction. Okay, so today we're taking a look at Nalf, who is an American living in Germany, and somebody who a lot of you guys have mentioned in my comment section for a while now. I think I watched one of his other videos, and we're going to check another one out today. This one is called Why Germans Aren't as Ambitious as Americans. And if I had to guess, I'm gonna guess before we start. I'm going to say it's less about Germans being ambitious and more about having like a better work-life balance built into the labor laws of the country, and also how in America the laws also exponentially benefit the rich more than they do the middle class or the poor, whereas in Germany it seems like the law sort of, I don't want to say punishes you for being rich, because it like that's a crazy thing to say, to be punished for being, oh, I'm so rich, I'm punished for it. But like in America, it's like you are treated as royalty by the law, and in Germany it's more like everyone is sort of on equal footing. So I think that it's just not quite as beneficial to give like your entire life and soul into your career and your job just to get rich, because I think people in Germany realize that there's more to life than just having a bunch of money, you know? That's what I would guess. I think a lot of Americans are just about work, and try to get a bunch of money. And there's definitely a lot of Germans like that too. Like a lot of Germans, they have their normal 9-to-5 job, and then they have like a mini job, and maybe they have like a little side hustle, which is very common. A lot of my friends here in Germany do that. I guess I kind of technically do that with like YouTube, you can say, and that's a very common thing in America too. But I think the difference is in Germany, you might work 40 hours a week on average throughout the year for your 9-to-5 job. In America, you might work 60 plus hours a week on average. You know, like there are some people that are working like 80 hours a week in America on average. And yeah, I think that just life in general in Germany is more about balance, and it's more about like spending time with the community, with your friends, with your family. It's not just about work, and there's a lot more of an emphasis for a lot more people in America on focusing on your career. So that's what I'm gonna guess he's going to be getting at. So I don't actually think that Germans are less ambitious. I think that's just like a little bit of a clickbait title, you know, but I think that Americans and Germans are probably the same amount of ambitiousness, but it's just more in the German culture to have a work-life balance, you know. But that's just my guess. Let's find out. Los geht's.
There is quite a big difference between Germans and Americans that no one seems to talk about. Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about it.
Oh!
These are my absolute favorite types of days in Schwäbisch Hall. A sunny Saturday or Sunday after it's been kind of gloomy for a while, the first sunny day.
Oh, yeah,
on
dude.
a weekend, and we've got top-notch vibes.
Oh, yeah, dude. After a few cloudy days and then the sun comes out, or maybe like the first warm day of the summer, ooh, I like to say all the sunflowers come out. All the German sunflowers come out because you just see everybody in the marktplatz and they're just like just chilling in the sun, not tanning, but like everyone's just like chilling. You might even get the random guy standing like just chilling, taking in the sun. Yeah, it's the German sunflower season. I love it. All right, anyways, sorry for the interruptions.
Schwäbisch Hall. Now, I've made tons of videos in the past about the differences between Germans and Americans, but some of those things are a little bit more obvious. Kind of stuff on the surface.
I like his
but
hat.
I think this one is a little bit less obvious, and it's actually taken me years to put my finger on it and articulate it.
Ooh!
Now, fair warning here for some of you guys, it might be a little bit offensive what I'm saying if you just listen to part of it. I recommend listening to the entire video, all of my thoughts fleshed out, and then at the end you can decide if you're upset or offended at what I've said.
I'm offended already! Let's see. Nice bean
Now,
roll.
the subject of this video comes down to two words: contentment and ambition.
Okay.
The people that I know in Germany are, in general, a lot more content with their lives. And the people I know in the United States have a lot more ambition to change or improve their lives.
That's the American dream. It's like the American culture. You always need more. You always need to be upgrading. You always need the bigger house, the better car, the better paying job. You always need to keep improving. And in Germany, it's like, if I have what I need and I'm happy, then let's just chill, you know? In general, it's not everybody. It's broad stroking, but yeah.
Now, keep in mind, before you freak out, these are just generalizations, and I'm primarily talking about kind of younger people in my demographic.
Don't talk about me like that.
Started with I know a lot of young guys in Germany who have finished
drank
their
a lot of coffee today.
or studies and have gotten into their job and sort of settled into the routine of what their life will be. They've got their stable job, they've got the insurance, they've got the month paid vacation every year, everything's good and fine, and they are content with that. Now, when I compare this to the same age range of young guys that I know in the States, it's a very different attitude. Their attitude is very much like, okay, this is where I'm at right now, but I'm going to elevate. I'm going to get to the next step. Maybe I live in this house right now. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to buy a new one. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to take a big risk, and it's going to pay off, and I'm going to keep going up and up. Seems to be a much different attitude on being content with your life.
I like this. I like this a lot. I agree with this so
There's
far.
actually some pretty fascinating data that I think relates to this subject.
Data! I love data.
This is from the Pew Research Center. The question was, is success in life determined by forces outside of your control? And the data is very, very revealing. 36% of Americans agreed with this, that success in life is outside of your control. But a much higher percentage, 62% of Americans disagreed with this. 62% of Americans think that success in life is within your control. Now, compare this to the data from the German respondents. 72% of Germans said that success in life is based on forces completely outside of your control. Only 27% of Germans thought success in life.
Okay, this is very cool. This is fascinating data. It's basically completely reversed. Okay, well, this is the American dream right here. everyone thinks like I'm in control of my own destiny. If I work hard and do whatever, then I can make it in life, or, you know, whatever. That's like the American dream that's always been around. And yeah, I mean, Germany is the complete opposite. Germans think that they cannot control their own success in general. But I would suspect that they are saying they can't control their own success because they know that they will become successful through the laws and just the natural progression of how the culture is in Germany. Everything is very determined for you. You go to the schooling and they walk you through that every step of the way, and then you go into your career, and then you stay in that career and you keep progressing in that field, and everything is kind of determined for you in a little bit of a way, at least a lot more than in America. And so I would guess that Germans think that they can't control their own success because they assume they're going to be successful if they just do what they're kind of supposed to do in life, you know? Whereas Americans are like, I need to do this myself. I need to grind. I need to work hard 24/7. I need to make something of myself. And yeah, that's very, very interesting.
Was within your own control. These are very different numbers and very clear differences on the attitudes of what you can do with your life.
Very cool.
And I think this data really supports my observation. I think when you feel like you have no control over the success or what happens in your life, it's easier to find contentment. Hey, this is the hand that I was dealt. These are the cards that I've got to live my life with. I can't do much about that, so I might as well be at peace and be content with this. But if you have the mentality that the majority of Americans do, that success in life is within your control and within your grasp, you're probably going to have a lot more burning ambition and desire to change your circumstances. If it's up to me, I've got to do it.
Okay.
Most of the times when I'm talking about the differences between
so far.
Germans and Americans, I don't think one country's way of being or attitude is better than the other. And in fact, on this particular topic, I'm trying to find a balance right between the two countries' attitude on these subjects. Now back to the subject of contentment. I think another great example of this is the difference in behavior when buying houses between Germans and Americans. I've touched on this once before in a video a while back, but when Germans buy or build a house, they are planning on this being their home for life. Whereas in the States, it's much more common for young people to get a starter home, thinking, okay, this is just my first house. Maybe it's a little bit smaller than what I want. And then soon down the line, we're going to upgrade to a bigger house. And then a little bit down the line again, we're going to upgrade to an even bigger house. I would say this is a clear sign of there not being much contentment in the home and having a desire to always improve it or get a bigger one. I couldn't find the exact data on the average home ownership length in Germany, but in the States, the average home ownership length is just 8 years. That means when people get in a house, they expect to just live there for 8 years. That's not very content. I think this example illustrates the point very well. People in one country get in a home for life and are content and happy with it. The people in the other country start out in a home and hope to continually improve or upgrade their home.
Yeah, also the housing market in the two countries are vastly different at the same time. Like in America, you can buy a home for like $100,000 in some places, but then the same exact house somewhere else is over $1 million. Like legitimately the same exact house, just depending on the location, can be that big of a difference. And that definitely happens in Germany as well. That's everywhere in the world. But I think this idea of like, oh, I can get a bigger house over here, or I can go to this better neighborhood, or I can go to this better city, that is way more of a thought process in America than it is in Germany. Not to mention moving jobs is way more common in America, which if you're moving jobs, then why not move houses? If you're going to move houses and move jobs, might as well move an hour away or 2 hours away or 5 states over or whatever. And that's definitely far less common in Germany. Most of my friends that I have here are from Isa, my German fiance, and they all basically grew up here in the town that they are now living, or like maximum 2-3 towns over, a very short car ride over. Whereas all of my friends that I grew up with in America, probably 60-70% of them don't live anywhere near where we grew up. So it's just very common to move all over the place in America based on your job or based on where you want to live. And yeah, that's just not as much of a thing in Germany.
It's also very interesting when you look at who wants to start a business. In Western Europe, Germans were the least likely country to care about starting their own business.
Oh, wow.
So what does this all mean? Are Germans inherently less, quote-unquote, ambitious than their American counterparts?
What do you think? Let me know.
I don't know. I think the two societies just value different things, and those values really show up in this data. Again, remember, these are just generalizations. This doesn't mean that there are not ambitious Germans or there are not content Americans, but I do find the data interesting. All right, guys, that is all for today.
Wow, I'm looking at this as a personal attack on myself, and I will be and am already offended. Thanks, Nauf. You have ruined my entire year. Anyways, yeah, I think it's just so many differences in cultures. Like, the American dream, the American culture is just so different from the German culture. And I guess if you want to oversimplify things, it's just like Germans are content where they are. They are happy trying to just live their life, and they're able to live their life in a happy way because of all these different reasons. And in America, it's kind of the American mentality to want more and better and try to keep improving and keep growing and all that stuff. And I think it's just a big cultural difference. But I'm curious what you guys, the experts, think. Do you think Americans are more ambitious than Germans? Do you think that Germans are more content than Americans? Do you think that you, as Germans, have control over your own success in life? Or do you think that it's completely out of your control? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. At any rate, though, that's all the time that I have for today. Thank you guys so much for being here, and as always, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.